Hey peeps, it's me, Coach Donna, coming to talk to you about a lesson I learned today while I was at a client's house this morning. I've been at clients' houses all day. Thank God for the clients. Thank God for the work. Thank God. But man, today I've been running, and I'm actually between appointments, but this lesson struck me so hard I actually wanted to just stop for a second and talk to you about it. So, okay. I was sitting in front of my client's house with him, and we were just kind of chilling, We were sitting down outside on the grass in the sun, and it was beautiful, and I started looking around and noticing his yard. Now, inside his house, first let me say, inside his house, it is absolutely immaculate, right? Porcelain tile floors. He's getting a new kitchen. He's just painting. He's doing recessed cans everywhere. I mean, the place is beautiful, right? And then outside, he's starting to do like a little bit of maintenance here and a little bit of maintenance there and that kind of thing. But when you walk through the door, it's a very different picture than it is when you are coming up to the door. So I'm sitting outside with him, and I start looking around, just noticing stuff like you always do. And it's like, hey. And he's like, well, I said, you have a dandelion in your yard. I haven't seen a dandelion since, I think it's been at least 5 or 6 years. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what is that? I said, well, a dandelion is actually a weed. And he was like, really? And so then I started talking to him about dandelions, right? And I gave him all the backstory because I have a lot of experience with dandelions. So I was talking to him about it, and we were talking about, ways to get rid of them and how they, have medicinal purposes and this, that, and the other, and all that stuff. And so then I started noticing the rest of his yard. Now, I haven't seen dandelions in California at all. Most of the time, I see grass that's like, they engineer it so that it takes less water. I don't know how they do it, but we got GMO grass too, y'all. Anyway, so it takes less water. So usually around here, the lawn is either lush and beautiful or it's non-existent. Or they have what's called a pavered lot. And so what the pavered lot is actually just rocks and desert plants that they put, it's a planned rock garden, basically, with cactus and other plants that don't take water or don't take a lot of water, and rocks everywhere. So, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to get a pavered lot. And I was like, wow. And I looked around, and literally, this man has so much yard, and it was all not very well maintained. And I saw spaces where the grass was alive, and I saw spaces where the grass was dead, and I saw barren patches, and then I saw dandelions in certain areas. And he said, yeah, it costs too much to maintain this. So because I don't want to maintain it, I'm going to get rid of it. I'll just do a paver lot so I don't have to pay the cost for it. I do have a guy who maintains my yard, he said. And I was like, really? He says, yeah, I don't let him come by very much because I don't want to bear that expense either. And I thought, wow, how many times in my life have I missed out on the opportunity to have beauty in my life because I didn't want to bear the expense? How many opportunities have I walked away from or shrugged my shoulders to, thinking, I don't want to do the work. I don't want to do the work. I don't want to do that. And I think about my life in terms of wins and losses, seeds, planting, and harvest. And, biblically, you think about it in terms of growth and development, but you think about it in terms of planting the seeds and reaping the seeds in terms of the planting and the maintenance. So it's not just what you do to get the thing beautiful, okay? It's what you do to keep the thing beautiful. It's not just what you do to maintain the thing, but it's what you do to make it thrive. See, I learned from my ex-husband a lot about grass, because he is the king of grass. King of grass. You want beautiful grass? You need to go see my ex-husband, because he can show you how to have some beautiful grass. Prep up and roll up your sleeves, because you will work to get it, but you will have beautiful grass when it's all said and done. So what I learned from that whole experience today, and comparing it to the experience that I had before in terms of the grass that I'm used to, is that it takes work to have a life. And I'm thinking about that in terms of life too. It takes work to have grass. It takes work to have a beautiful lawn. It takes work to get and deal with the weeds and fight them so that they don't come back, and defend. Jim Rohn says defend. You have to nourish and defend. So it takes a lot to gain and maintain the life that you want. In terms of your finances, it takes a lot to learn how to gain and maintain and make it flourish. That's not something that happens overnight. That's something that's taught over time. And you learn techniques as you go. Same thing with your life. It's same thing with your grass. You don't come here knowing how to make the grass beautiful. You have to learn that. Sometimes you have to go to Home Depot. Then you have to have your aunt teach you some stuff about planting flowers. And you have to have your mother teach you some stuff. And you have to listen to your father. And you have to learn how to mow the grass and how high it needs to be and how low to go. And what kind of mowers to use. And all the trimmers and paring scissors. And how to plant flowers. And what kind of flowers. You have to learn all of that stuff about creating the beauty of the life that you want in terms of your grass. And then you have to also learn how to create the life that you want in terms of your life. So what kinds of seeds do I plant in my own mind? What kinds of weeds do I need to pull up? What kinds of things are available to me so that I can grow and flourish? How do I learn not to spend all of my money? How do I learn not to go off on people because they make me mad? Where does it become okay for me to just breathe and relax and enjoy my life? Those things are not something that you just pop up and know. You actually have to learn how to stop the negative self-chatter. You actually have to learn how to enjoy yourself. When you start working like you're crazy and you're working and you're running and you're working the work, you have to learn how to enjoy yourself. There are different stages and phases to this whole thing that we call life in 4G. So because of that, I'm just taking a few minutes to encourage you that if you don't know what to do to get your life the way you want it to do, go find somebody who does. My ex-husband had to learn how to maintain the grass. I learned a little bit too. I was actually shocked because I didn't run away from all the bugs all the time. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I do. Okay, he helped me. But I learned what it took because I watched him. I'm learning what it takes to have the life that I want because I watch the people who live like I want to live. I ask questions. I take notes. If the right person is speaking, I have a tape recorder right there and I don't miss a word, and I do go back over it because it's more important to me to get the lesson. When I needed to know about how to handle my money, I absolutely went and found out about it because I can't be broken 50. I can't be broken 60. And I can't be right here next year. Forget 50 and 60. I can't be right here next year. I can't be right here in 9 months. So, because of all of those things, because of the life that I want to live, because of the life that you want to live, that's why you plant the seeds. The Bible says that if you plant the seeds and you sow sparingly, and by sowing sparingly, that means you spare the seeds, like you don't sow like you're supposed to sow, like you cheat, like you do it and you stingy with it, then you will reap just like you sow. So basically, if you think you're going to sow a little bit and get a whole lot, not going to happen. If you think that you're going to sow, if you think you're going to sow one seed and get 5 trees, not going to happen. You're going to sow one seed and possibly the tree will come up, because it might germinate correctly. It might come up correctly. It might die. It might not die on the vine on the way out. It might make it out the seed. It might not die pushing up through the ground. You'll get a tree and it might bear some fruit. But try planting 10 trees, planting 20 seeds, planting 50 seeds, planting a field. What will you get in return for that? That's the difference between sowing sparingly and sowing reapingly. And that's the difference between maintaining your life the way that you want to, or gaining what you need to have the life that you want, by doing what you have to do to get the seeds in. You got to do what you got to do to get the seeds in. They don't just happen like that. They just happen like that. I think about Lisa Nichols and how she talked about how she would be speaking, and she would go home and eat beanies and weenies. She would go home and eat beanies and weenies after speaking on national and international platforms with speakers that were making millions of dollars. She was good enough to do what they did, but she hadn't learned the lessons that she needed to learn to actually be able to fully maintain the life. But oh baby, she got it now. But it took the lessons. You didn't just have the gift, because she had the gift, right? But it took more than just the gift to get you what you need in this world. It takes you honing the gift. It takes you planting into your gift. It takes you pulling out of your gift. It takes you sweating, crying, learning a new thing, and moving from where you are to where you want to be, step by step. It takes you maintaining your grass. It takes you pulling your weeds. It takes you doing self-work. It takes you doing all the things that you need to do. Life in 4G is not for the faint of heart. Let's get it straight. But it is also something that will help you be able to live a beautiful, bountiful existence. So, my challenge to you, and my challenge to myself, that I learned this morning sitting in the grass talking to my customer, is that if you want it, you got to work for it. It's not going to happen just because you bought the land. If you are not willing to pay the price, it's going to die right there in front of you. And you can repave it over with some stuff that's lifeless, or that doesn't maintain, that's self-maintaining, because you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to do anything to rocks. They're rocks. But at the same time, where will the variety be in the spring? When you have 5 different flowers growing up, and you see all the beauty of the colors of the world. Then you only planted the easy stuff because you ain't want to maintain nothing. I'm done. Okay, all right. So, my encouragement to you is to do what you need to do to have the life that you're supposed to have. Learn it, live it, grow, move. Don't get scared. If you get scared, don't stop. Keep moving. Keep going. Kick fear in the face. Keep going. If it gets hard, keep going. If you feel get tired, sit down, rest for a second, because you only got a second. You only have a second. Get up. Keep it moving. All right? The grass teaches us a lot, huh? Anyway, life in 4G is living in God, living a life of giving, living a life of gratitude, and living unapologetically in your greatness. Maintain your life. Build it. Live it. Build it. Live it. Maintain it. Not going to happen any other way for you.